Another day, another dollar we don't spend on these three. Oh, foes. I'm Freaky Jersey Tales, back to tell you some freaky Jersey tales. Rotation, rotation. Let's talk about the time I had a rotation. This type of video might be pretty nasty for some of you. Some people might get pissed off, but as they say, better to be pissed off than pissed on. Now, first of all, I want to say, in my opinion, having a rotation is extremely overrated. I personally don't do it anymore. And I know everyone has a different way of living. So some guys want to sign a dotted line, go the marriage route. Some want rotations. Some guys say they just pump and dump. Whichever path you choose, just understand the laws and the risks that come behind it. I mean, by now, almost everybody has had some sort of sex ed course, and almost everyone has access to the internet to educate themselves on these type of activities. I can make a suggestion on what you could do or what you probably shouldn't do based off my knowledge and experience, but I'm not the type to constantly nag another man about his lifestyle. Plus, I don't want nobody nagging me about what brings me peace, quiet, and happiness. So we aren't going to police anyone's Johnson & Johnson over here. Certain things you do may come with consequences behind it, so if anything unexpected happens, that's on you. Nobody is invincible. The last time I had a rotation was 6 or 7 years ago, I think. Some of you may be wondering why one has a rotation. Many people say it's because they can't control their biology and they need sex. I would say technically I could control my biology, but I did not want to control it. I didn't need sex. I just really wanted it at the time. I wanted to see what all the hype was about because a lot of the men I knew were bragging about the different girls they had in their rotation. They praise having a rotation like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So I simply wanted unlimited access from sex from good-looking women without any relationship or long-term commitment. The more I dated women, the more I understood them. I understood that many of them would make an agreement with me today. They would change their minds a few weeks later. So in the beginning, there were some girls that claimed they didn't want anything serious. So after hooking up with them for a while, they magically changed their mind and say they want a relationship. Or they cut off access to sex and claim they have a headache or something. That's when I started to realize that everything is temporary. So that's another reason why I went ahead and started having a rotation. That way, I always had 24/7 access to sex whenever I wanted it. So whenever a chick started acting up or didn't get with my program, I would cut her off, or I just go and bang one of the other girls in my rotation. And in my past videos, I think I used the pump and dump lingo a little too loosely. Even though I have done that before, most of the time it wasn't a direct pump and dump. It was more of a pump 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 10 time. And if she's on some BS, then it's time to move on. No fussing, no fighting, no debating. I just walk away. I used to be that guy that debated with them and tried to present an argument with logic and facts. But they don't care about that, so I just save my breath and move on. I only use them for recreational and therapeutic purposes. So if she didn't want to spread her legs for your boy, there's another girl right down the street that will. In this Western culture, chicks are always screaming sexual liberation. So it wasn't hard to get laid once I obtained knowledge and experience from dating different women. I was never desperate for the cooch, so I stayed calm for the most part. And if they started to sense that I have other girls willing to give me what I want, a lot of times they get their act together, but by that time, I'm already to the next one. All you have to do is deny me access one time and I say cool, and calmly walk away. Playing silly games and trying to use sex as a weapon turns me off, so when it came to my rotation, I usually kept it small. But the most I tried to have in my rotation all at once was about 5 or 6 different chicks. But I quickly realized that this was way too much for me to handle because it's damn near impossible having sex with that many women while working a full-time job. So I usually kept the rotation around 3 chicks, and even that was tough at times. Sometimes I was a little embarrassed because I was mixing up some of their names when texting them. Yo, one time I was in bed having sex with one of them, and I called her my other side chick's name by accident. And even though I'm physically attracted to women from every color, I say my rotation was mostly white chicks. I don't know about y'all experience, but in my personal experience, the majority of BWs were the hardest to deal with. Plus, I prefer women that rock their own natural hair. I don't like that horseweed bullcrap. And even though I'm physically attracted to light-skinned Latinas the most, some of them could also be loud and ratchet, especially if they came from the ghetto. Yuck. I can't stand a masculine chick no matter what color or race she is. So in my personal experience, white girls treated me the best. Whoa. Hold on now. Not saying they can't be a headache. Not saying they're perfect little angels. Not saying I haven't met some Karens along the way. But generally, they gave me the most peace of mind. And they'll suck your dick without you even having to ask. I like that shit. And when it came to my rotation, I treated that joint like a business. I'm the owner, the CEO, human resources, and the company itself all in one. And they were my little horny employees, so I look at it as, what type of value do you bring to my company? You know? And if you didn't bring any value, or you started getting out of line or started slacking off on the job, you got fired and I hire a new employee. Straight up. It's no hate. Just strictly business. With a little bit of pleasure, of course. And even when I had a rotation, I always stayed mysterious. So they never know where I lived, never knew how much money I made, and none of them knew my last name. People would say I'm a savage for treating them like this, but to my understanding, they were having a good time as well. And they really enjoyed my company. I say one of their biggest complaints was I wouldn't kiss them on the mouth. But they still gave me sex, so I guess they weren't that mad about it. One thing I noticed when dealing with women, I understood that everything is temporary, whether it lasted 1 week or a few months. It just never lasts forever. So I always had fun while it lasted. I was there for a good time, not a long time. Some people probably thinking I was selling these women a magical dream to getting them guts. To be real with y'all, I never once told any of them I wanted a girlfriend, long-term relationship, kids, marriage, and nothing. And some girls still drove or flew from other states just to link up. There were even women from overseas that spent thousands of dollars on airfare, spent hundreds of dollars for hotels, sat on a plane for damn near 24 hours just to get her back blown out by yours truly. I appreciate that, but I don't care if she's a 8, 9, or 10 Western women or from overseas. I ain't wifing nothing. Some of these girls will have sex with me first and ask questions later. Then when I would tell them I don't want a relationship or anything like that, they'll huff and puff and complain, but they'll still have sex with me on a consistent basis. Yo, let me tell y'all, hold on. Let me tell y'all, yo. Before I continue, not to get off topic, but real quick, let me tell y'all real quick. It was a time I met her with a chick, right? And within the first minute of us meeting, she aggressively says, "Okay, before we get anything started, we need to get something straight first. What is it that you're looking for? What are your intentions with me? Because I'm not here to play games. Because if you think I'm that kind of girl, blah, 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 blah." I told her to her face, I'm not looking for anything serious. Then she had a look of disgust on her face when I said it. She asked me a couple more questions and then asked like, Whoa. Hold on, wait. Are you talking with other girls? So I just kind of exhaled and I just said, to be completely honest with you, yes, I'm talking to other girls. She starts flipping out like, "Oh, you should have just lied. Why couldn't you just lie to me?" I'm like, huh? I thought being honest was the right thing to do. She's like, no! Oh my God, this isn't gonna work. Then later on, I was digging out her guts in the front seat of the whip, Northwest Jersey style. Smashing on the first night, knowing her for about 15-20 minutes. True story. True story. I'll give you guys the whole story in a different video one of these days, but yeah. I find it funny because there's a lot of guys who think women don't enjoy sex that much. Let me tell you, when I had a rotation, I had to keep giving them sex or they started losing interest. From the outside looking in, it sounds like an easy task to smash women all day 24/7. Yeah, I had some fun times, but it's so draining busting nuts having sex with them every single week, every single day. And one of the questions I get asked the most is if I've ever had a threesome with chicks. Believe it or not, I've never had a threesome, but I could have easily made it happen if I wanted to. But I will say, the most girls I had sex with within 24 hours is 3 girls. And all 3 of them were in my rotation. By the time I got to the 3rd and final girl, I forgot to take a shower at the second chick's house. So when she pulled my pants down, you could smell sweaty balls, coochie juice, and condom residue reeking from my Johnson from the last session I had from the second chick. The smell was so strong, it slapped both of us in the face. But guess what she did? She started sucking. She didn't give a fuck. I was like, ooh, you little nasty blonde, you. It got to the point where I said to myself, man, I'm getting too much sex. I think I might need to take a break. This is tough. I'm running out of juice. Literally. So it was basically the same thing every weekend. I get off work, go to her house or apartment. I pull up wearing some old basketball shorts and basketball shoes that I've owned for like 7 years. Got condoms in my pocket. Wearing my white beater or a black beater just to let her know I'm not racist. Walk in the crib, get a little pump. Maybe get some of her food. Then I dip and get ready for work the next day. And back in the day, many girls told me how they use desperate guys for free drinks, free food, free cash, and never talk to them again. And before I knew that, I used to be that nice guy that got finessed on foodie call dates because I was told that's what a real man is supposed to do. Who cares if she wasted your time and money? She deserves it. Ah, be quiet. Be a real man. Suck it up and deal with it. Back in the day, I used to take women out on free dates whenever they told me that they liked me. Truth is, she never even liked me in the first place. So I made sure that wasn't ever going to happen again. So you know how we hear many stories about simps sending girls money, paying all of their bills without getting any sex in return. And then we hear about the guy that doesn't pay for anything and blows out her back at the end of the night for free. Well, in many cases, I was that guy. You ever been out on a date and the girl is complaining about her ex-boyfriend or some evil asshole that she used to deal with, yet she continued to spread her legs for him? In many cases, I was that guy. The girls wanted my dick and attention, and in return, I got her attention, home-cooked meals if I wanted it, massages, desserts, pussy, head, and deep throat. I even made homemade pornos with some of these chicks. Real talk. I wasn't doing shit for free no more. If a chick wanted my company, I'm gonna need to be compensated straight up. How dare you not pay? You're not a real man. But not all women are liars. Shut your bitch ass up. Fair transaction, motherfucker, fair transaction. But on the real, I really didn't care about the food or massages or the other stuff as much. But hey, if you want to fix me a hot plate to show your appreciation, then I greatly appreciate it. I just look at the food as a tool to give me more energy to recharge my battery to blow your motherfucking back out. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm balls deep in a chick, I'm burning hella calories doing calisthenics in that joint. It feel like every nut I bust is extra calories burned. So each nut bust is like 2,000 calories. But you have to watch some women carefully because they'll use the food in the vag in order to get a 50x return on that investment. So in her mind, 2 nights of sloppy sex means that you'll have to start paying a rent every month. And if a chick started that with me, I shut that shit down. Especially if they stumped around screaming that strong independent nonsense. I remember I smashed a strong independent chick that said she don't need no man. And she don't want his money because she pays her own bills. There was a time she told me her car is having transmission and head gasket issues. And she was low-key trying to ask me to fix it, you know what I mean? So I told her to her face, call a mechanic. Then she says, oh, well, you know, I don't have the money. So I told her, well, I don't either. She's a full-time working woman making more than the average person. Not sure how she doesn't have the money, but hey, it's not my problem. This is why I can relate to Tom Likas so much. No matter how good a chick looks, I'm not afraid to look in her eyes and tell her no. And Tom Likas is a multi-millionaire and he spends no more than like $20 on a chick and he was still getting laid with ease. And chicks would call up to his show like, Tom, don't you want to get married and settle down and live happily ever after? No tolerance policy. No. If you nag me, you're out. O-U-T out. I know how Tom Likas be. Not hosted by a right-wing wacko. No. You know, but and when it came to chicks in my rotation, if I was finished with them, I would never, ever deal with them again. Because if they did something that I can't tolerate one time, 9 times out of 10 when they get emotional, they'll do it again. You know, they'll do it again if I accept them back. And some of the past rotation chicks that I kicked to the curb will probably tell you that I'm dusty, that I ain't shit, that I'm a fuck boy. But 97.999999999999999% of the time, weeks later, months later, even years later, they always, and I mean always, come back to this evil, dusty piece of shit fuck boy. And most of the time, these girls are now married with kids, living the white picket fence life. And some of them contact me from a different number. And some of them find my social media, sending me messages telling me they thinking about me, reminiscing about the good old times. Some tell me they still have old screenshots of us messaging each other from many, many years ago. Some even asked to meet up with me. So if I'm evil, dusty, such a piece of shit fuck boy, why do you miss me? Why do you want to meet up with me? Why are you still thinking about the good old times, huh? Huh? I rest my case, Your Honor. I rest my case. Alright, so to wrap this thing up, in my opinion, rotations are overrated. You're dealing with multiple emotional brains. Once you have sex with every type of girl you've ever wanted to have sex with multiple times, you start to get desensitized. So it puzzles me when guys brag about having a body count over 1,000 women and still play the field and attempt to get 1,000 more. I don't know. Well, to each his own, I guess. And I know people will say, no, FJT, you should have done this. You shouldn't have done that. Maybe I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but we can't rewind time. What's done is done. I actually learned a lot from that experience, so I don't have any apologies nor any regrets. And if any of my past rotation chicks that I smashed somehow comes across this video, remember, you can call me all the names you want to, but at the end of the day, you can't unfuck me. As a wise man once said, now let that shit sink in.